Let's talk about some ESPN.
Sure.
All right. You got fired. Are you addicted to leaking stuff? Do you have a
leak problem?
You have a leak problem? You're just
you love
leaking.
to
Like,
leak?
are you going to just tell everyone what? Are you going to release this podcast before we even release it?
No, I think in this case,
Is that why these guys are here?
Right.
They're
They want to make
recording
sure,
it. And
yeah,
It's going to run on awful announcing tomorrow morning.
they want to make sure that we follow the right protocol. Like Virk cannot be trusted on his own. That's what we have my army here.
So
I mean,
yeah,
I
you're
feel-
addicted to leaking.
I feel like that type of thing happens a lot, though, like in sports media. These websites, they get their scoops from somewhere, right?
Right.
Explain it. Explain the whole
Yeah,
situation.
why was it different when you
I know
did it?
you've
I don't
done
get
it, but give it to us for real. Don't give us the
No, I hear you.
Jim Miller, Richard Deitch, like, let's clean it up. Those guys had your back, man. That was crazy.
That's what I honestly have to tell you guys. That whenever this thing happens, and I pray. Have you ever been fired before?
Oh, yeah, one time from ESPN.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right. We do have
Good
that.
point. Relatable.
Right. I had a slightly longer
You did
stint
your
than you
homework.
guys.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
you
true.
guys can't relate to this.
Yeah.
But like when you're watching everything unfolding, it's like watching your own funeral. Mm-hmm. Like you're listening to podcasts. People are talking about Adnan was regarded as a good guy. He was well. But I'm still here. I'm making eggs right now for my kids. I'm still here. I got plenty of hot takes. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And then you hear some people being. And of course, if you go online, you go, okay. At best, you're going to go. If it's 50-50, you feel pretty good. But I was looking. I'm like, oh, people are more on my side. Or
Yes.
People's going to be like, hey, this guy's a good guy. This shouldn't have happened. And as you mentioned, Jim Miller and Deitch, those guys were
I was
unbelievable.
like, take it easy, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I know he shouldn't have been fired,
mean-
but like he probably did leak something.
He's not deep throat here.
Yeah.
These aren't the Pentagon papers.
Yeah. But, all right.
exactly.
So walk us through it. So tell us the whole story, because so people who don't know, like what exactly happened. You've been at ESPN forever,
Right.
The story comes out that it was a Baseball Tonight news that you had maybe talked to someone on background. That's the part that sucks, that you got fired for fucking leaking baseball news. Like, no one cares.
It was like the
When you
start
really
time. It was
break
like
it
the
down.
start time of Baseball Tonight,
We had
right?
dinosaur of the
Yeah.
worst news ever. I wouldn't even known that news.
Well, that's
Okay.
like PFT said. It wasn't exactly the Pentagon papers.
You're right,
Like,
yeah.
If
right.
you're going to go with the bag, you should probably go out with something a little more incendiary, which
Right.
made the decision a little more crazy. But honestly, like you guys said, I've been there for 9 years. I thought I put up a good resume. I'd done a lot of work on a lot of different shows and had a good time. And sometimes, listen, you develop relationships with guys in the media, and you just, it isn't thought to be anything nefarious or anything sinister. But in this case, ESPN was really upset about it, and they just said we're going to part ways. And it's kind of like a marriage in many ways, or a relationship, right? You're with somebody, something happens, you go, hang on a second, is this that big a deal? And they go, yeah, it is. And you go, I don't understand. Like, I didn't, I'm sorry. No, you're out.
That was that?
Can I get the flat screen TV? No. Can I get a couch? No, we're done. The marriage is over. See you later. And you go, okay.
What was it? Was it about the leak itself? Because I feel like leaks happen in this business all the time. There are like numerous websites out there that have sources inside, whether it's FS1, whether it's ESPN, wherever. Right. Was it the leak, or did you, like, right after you got caught, were you like, no, it wasn't me? And they're like, let's see your phone. You're like, oh yeah, it kind of was me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the whole situation probably just became unfortunate, and they just didn't like, I don't know, I guess the way that the sequence of events unfolded. But honestly, I'm lucky with the way things worked out, because as you guys know, this industry is very tricky, man. Like, something happens, and all of a sudden you go, all right, that's it. This guy's done. He's got a black mark on him. He's got a scarlet letter. But thankfully, that wasn't the case. You know what I mean? For me, I was just really lucky that John Skipper gave me this opportunity, that Jamie Horowitz came in and did this. So honestly, ESPN's a great place to work. The last 72 hours were not great. You guys know what that's like.
Yeah.
Getting pulled the plug is not fun. But, it's worked out well.
So it sounds like it was shocking, though, when it happened. When you
Oh,
were
yeah.
like, wait, this is really happening?
Oh, yeah,
This is
yeah.
really going down?
Traumatic.
That's crazy.
If you look at, like, Google right now, top 5 stressors in life, and it's like, death of a loved one. I think number 2 is like, a divorce. But, like, getting fired is right there. Moving, relocating. You've got 4 boys, and, we're living in central Connecticut. Life is bliss, and all of a sudden, boom, you're out.
Was
At Super Bowl Sunday, you're getting boom.
Yeah, which
The
actually
top trending
That's
topic.
that's
That was
not bad,
good.
though, because it got buried real quick.
Although the Super Bowl sucked.
Yeah, so everyone's
it
like,
went
let's get back to
the top.
talking about that.
PFT, to your point, I thought it would get buried because it was on before the Super Bowl, but my understanding is actually was the opposite, because everybody was online on their phones tweeting.
Oh, it's a big day.
So it
It's
actually
a
became
big internet
You
day.
go, oh, wait, what happened to Virk? And the Super Bowl sucked, to Dan's point,
Yeah.
which I think the Eagles should still be champions. The Super Bowl was so lousy.
Retroactively,
The Eagles
yeah.
should still be the champions.
Yes.
Were you? Was there any element of relief? Because, like, for us, when we got fired, I was like, sweet, I don't have to do that show
Yeah.
for 16 more weeks.
Sweatpants on Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's certain elements that you like. Listen, with ESPN, it's a great place to work, but it does consume your life. Like, work-life balance is not a strength. And maybe that's my own fault, just that I was dedicated to the job so much. So, hey, you want me to fill in with Russillo? No problem. You want me to do Mike and Mike or Golak and Wingo? Sure. In addition to doing Baseball Tonight, college football, college basketball, etc. So I think when you're there, because it's so competitive, because the people are so talented, you naturally have it overwhelm your life, which is not a good thing.
Right.
Now that I'm at DAZN, I'm living in Hohokus, New Jersey, 15 miles from Manhattan. Like, I feel like there's a lot more balance in my life, which was not ESPN's fault. I think it's my fault. I just kind of let the job overwhelm me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't reward you in the end. If they want to get rid of you, like, all right. Well, This guy didn't call it sick for 9 years. Well, good luck to you.
Right. That's true. You should take your sick days. That's actually the biggest thing.
And your vacations.
Vacation
Hank is living proof of that.
Do not pass on those because they can fire you at any moment.
Right. No one's going to go, hey, he did cut short his paternity time. By the way, did you take your full paternity
no,
time?
not really.
He took an afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, Big Cat, take your time. What do you?
We took a Sunday off.
What's the paternity time you get here at Barstool?
I don't think there is a. I think you could. I don't even know. Like we could at Barstool. I think I could probably not show up for 2 months and send a few emails, and people, if I kept on doing Pardon My Take, people wouldn't say anything.
Right.
But then there's a chance that I could show up for not one afternoon, and everyone would be like, "Where the fuck are you?"
But think about this. You guys worked for ESPN.
Right.
I literally was on your first program at ESPN.
Correct.
And
Correct.
it was a short stint. But if you were to compare the environments of Barstool and ESPN.
Yeah, that actually is one of the lessons we learned was don't be in a situation where other people can kind of control your destiny. Here, we control our own destiny, and we make our own content, and we don't really have to answer to anyone. Like people always ask, what is the beauty of this place? Like we get to do whatever we want.
Right.
And talk to whoever we want and go anywhere we want. And I don't think there's many places in the media in 2019 where the creators have that freedom.
All kidding aside, if I say to you guys, listen, you can have a huge hit show on ESPN, which would be awesome.
Fuck no.
Or
or
do this where literally, PFT, you do whatever you like.
Yeah.
Big Cat, you do whatever you. We're giving you zero restrictions. If you ask an actor, if you ask a singer, musician, whomever, you have zero restrictions. Money's decent. Everything's good. Or you're in a corporate machine. You're a big dude. Billboards, but you better follow the company line.
Right.
Oh, equal amounts of money, no chance at all.
Right.
I would go anywhere near ESPN for that. Like right now, the job that we have, we set our own schedule. Like the most control that anybody has over our schedule is when we all agree, okay, we're meeting at this time to talk about this weird, shitty idea that we've got that we're going to somehow make work despite itself. Like that is the most, that's the most rigid that we get in our day. We don't have production meetings that are set. We don't have bosses that we really report to.
Right.
With the exception of like if we fuck up at some point, somebody asks us, hey, why'd you fuck up? And then we tell them.
But the sellout money, if you were like,
sellout-
hey,
that's
dude,
what I was
$10
saying.
million bucks,
I'm
like,
saying, PFT
done.
is the same amount. So let's go the other way. So
Yeah.
let's less money to work here rather than the big corporation.
If you're talking sellout money, I'd take sellout money.
Yeah,
I'll
Rick Riley
be open
money.
about that.
Rick Riley money.
You're
That's where I
saying,
draw
like,
the line.
You start throwing millies around, and it's like,
No,
dude, you don't have to work for the rest of your life.
I double your salary to a major corporation, but they will tell you exactly what to do. You guys can dress a different way. I want suits and ties.
Yeah, I don't know.
fuck your
Well,
money.
I don't know about the suit and tie thing. I did that for 3 weeks. Worst 3 weeks of my life. That was right before the Super Bowl. That's why I didn't pay that much attention to you getting fired because I was too concerned with wearing a fucking necktie.
By the way, I did get a shout out on your podcast, though. I do appreciate that.
What was that? What did you
After I
say?
was fired, you guys said friend of the
yeah.
show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we do consider you a friend of the show.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Even though you leak everything.
Yeah.
Have you been tested yet at DAZN? Have they been like, I didn't get out of the room?
Yeah, no, thankfully they have not put in a strong anti-drug.
Dude, I would make so many of those jokes if you were here. It would be, I would
be trouble.
probably a dick
but
about
I
it.
think, but that's part of friendship, is
Yeah,
it not?
right.
You can be able to bust a guy's chops.
You know what? Right now we're not actually recording this. We're gonna let you go, and we're gonna see what you put out there, what turns up online tomorrow, and then if there's nothing, then we'll have you back and we'll do the show.
It's
for
like
real.
an addiction.
Yes.
Yeah, he can't
you're
help
addicted to
himself.
it. Yeah.
So after
The Uber driver told me he'd be here at 11. Really? Can I
Yes.
tell anybody that, or is that confidential between us?
after you leave ESPN, I imagine it takes like some time to get your thoughts together, figure out what you want to do. I read that you pulled an ultimate fired guy move and you grew a beard.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a great move. I wish I could do. That's the one drawback to not having good facial
I'll
hair.
see if I can find the picture. But I was inspired by Letterman because I said, you know what? After 30-plus years of having to shave every day, his first thought was, I'm not shaving. That's all I care about. So I went a good 3 weeks without shaving, and it was embarrassing because there was way too many white hairs. So I had this crux here. Do I dye it like Keith Hernandez for men?
I dye my hair.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No,
otherwise,
fuck no.
I look like I was 57 years old.
As long as you admit it. As long as you say that you dye your hair.
You don't have to tell somebody preemptively, oh, by the way, hey, guys, sorry, I just dyed my beard.
No, I think you have to say that.
You
I've
just
done
start
it.
the conversation by saying, hey,
I've
guys,
done it.
I dyed my beard in case you're wondering.
No, you have
Okay?
to be like, hey, just so you know, I'm dyeing my. I tell people like, hey,
Preemptively
I'm due
before
for
they
a
make
dye.
a judgment about you, they go, I dyed my hair. Okay.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to be a Coach K or like one of these guys who's weirdly got jet black hair late in life. It's like, just be open about it.
But growing a beard, to me, it was like liberating. And then I had to go for interviews and stuff, and I was like, do I shave the beard? Do I keep the beard?
It's kind of like a power journo move having a nice beard, like Bob Lee. Late in his career, he had the general had the
and
beard.
there was a real stick when I started at ESPN in 2010. That, you know, it was like I don't think it was like the Yankees, no facial hair rule, but you had to be somebody special to do it. Now everybody has a beard. If you don't have a beard, then people think, what's wrong with you? Did you not get the memo?
Do you think
Jesse Palmer, by the way, started the trend? He was the first guy at ESPN went cool beard.
You know what?
Yeah.
Jesse now
he's
engaged.
So damn good looking that if he no
Now
matter what he
engaged,
does, you're like, okay, yeah, we'll have that on the air, no problem.
Best looking Canadian.
Do you think ESPN is like trying to be more friendly to their talent in that respect? That like I'm always fascinated with how the media works and how ESPN, because let's be honest, when they hired us to do Barstool Van Talk, they wanted like the coolness of what we bring,
right,
and kind of a relatability that they might not have anymore. Do you think that they're going to switch back? Because there's been a weird trend where I think ESPN got lost a little bit, and you felt like you didn't, you know, the big sets and all this technology. It's like what we care about is connecting with human beings.
Right. I do remember an anchor, I can't remember what it was offhand, but he said something about when they unveiled that set, $100 million set, it's gorgeous set, and the anchors are this big. And he goes, yeah, that's ESPN. He goes, nothing's bigger than the brand.
Right.
Giant sports or giant ESPN, and the anchors are this big.
So that was intentional, obviously, is to just be like, hey, we can just change out people left and right, and the brand keeps going on, which I guess is smart.
Yeah, I was about to say, in that respect, it's like you don't want to put too much power in the form of labor. Nothing's bigger than the brand, which I think is accurate.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone gives a damn that I'm not there. Like, no, ESPN's awesome.
Yeah, and it's the history of ESPN. You know, I think the talent did get bigger than the brand at points.
Right, Kilborn.
With Dan Patrick and Kilborn and Olbermann.
Yeah.
And they were able to squash that.
Right.
But it's always interesting to me because I feel like ESPN, for the longest time, it was just they are the worldwide leader. They dominate everything.
Right.
And now in the last few years, it's been like, well, maybe not.
Yeah, and I think, listen, you guys have proven that. Other shows have proven that listen, personality does count. There's going to be people who say, well, nothing's more important than the content. Of course. I mean, you're not going to watch a lousy movie if the story's bad, even if it has actors you like, directors like, etc. But if you have personalities that like it, would they not enhance the story?
Right.
Like in late night shows, right? That's a perfect example. You say, I don't really care about the late night. I just want to watch Fallon or Colbert, etc. It used to be The Tonight Show in capital letters, right? When Conan was doing it, and the fact that Jay wanted to take it back, and him and Letterman fighting over it. Now it's like, no, I watch Colbert, I watch Fallon, I watch whomever it is, right?
Right.
So similar to your point, I think, Big Cat, you're right, that ESPN's always going to have a leg up. They've been around for 40 years.
Right.
A 40-year head start, dude. You've done some great things over the ways. There are obviously a lot of smart people there, a strong infrastructure, etc. But if you have more personality-enhanced mediums, I think you have a chance.